I dreamed a dream, dear listener, and I saw you dreaming for a new ThyGap podcast. Well, guess what? It's Thursday, and we're here to fulfill your dreams. Welcome to the brand new ThyGap episode. How are you guys doing? My name is Bogus Noog, and I'm here joined in a living nightmare with my co-host.
Being Brut.
Brut, as much as I try to shake you off from my memories, I just can't seem to. I wish if only there was a service that catered to that. But how's it going with you, Brut, as long as you're here?
It's an interesting question, Mr. Bogus. As you can see, I'm appalled by the fact that I'm in the presence of you. Many a time in the past, I have thought of erasing you from the existence from the face of Earth.
Oh, wow.
But having said that, it so often happens
Right.
that when an unmovable object meets an unstoppable force,
Right.
there is
The Dark Knight?
the new ThyGap podcast
Oh.
episode.
Of course. Of course. You know what else I think of when I look at your face, Brut? Among the many other horrific things, I just can't help but think, oh my God, on Instagram we are _ThyGap.
Yes, absolutely true.
And then I look at your ugly nostrils and it reminds me of, on Twitter, we are at ThyGap.
Yes, that's accurate.
And then I look at what is an excuse for hair on top of your head. And then it reminds me that on Facebook, our page is ThyGap it is.
ThyGap it is.
Yeah. So at least your facial features serve to remind us of our socials that we need to plug every episode like this.
You know, nothing goes for waste, Bogus.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope someday you learn this.
Even the nostril hair.
Even the nostril hair.
Right.
I'm glad you didn't go below that.
No, of course not. Australia? No.
That would be the exact opposite of excitement, which would be called... Later in the episode, we will reveal what's the opposite of excitement.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Listen on.
I'm going to ask you a very personal question.
Okay.
Do you dream?
That's it. I'm putting the phone down. You use the magic word.
Dreams, guys and girls.
Of course, what a stupid question. All of us dream, right?
Not really. Statistically, a lot of people don't dream, apparently.
Would you say they're fortunate or otherwise?
Unfortunate. Absolutely unfortunate. What's life without a little, impossibility? Or at least like a peek into the impossibility.
Yeah, I can make sense. I would also go with unfortunate.
Right?
Yeah.
So we are on the same page. And that ends our podcast today, guys.
Thank you for listening.
And Bogus have agreed right in the beginning.
Yeah.
For the first time in the history of ThyGap podcast. This is the Booyaka Shah moment.
The very first agreement I would say was to actually sit down and do a podcast.
Yeah, let's make it the second agreement.
We couldn't have gone too far without that.
But it's an interesting concept, don't you think so? I get fascinated with dreams.
I would seriously doubt anyone who said they were not interested in this concept.
Are you serious? You never met a person who said like, oh my God, dreams are so bad. I hate dreams. Never?
No, I've never met anyone who said they were not interested in it. And it doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can you not be interested in something so abstract and vague and so inexplicable?
Say for somebody who doesn't like surprises, maybe they don't like dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not be fascinated about dreams. Having said that, I wonder if there is a phobia of dreams.
There could be
a word what is a word for the phobia of dreams?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a word for that.
It's dreamophobia.
Dreamophobia. You heard it here first, folks. This is an exclusive. A ThyGap podcast exclusive.
Dreamophobia, hashtag. But it would be so ridiculous, right? Imagine you have a fear of dreams.
No, but what if someone keeps getting like recurring nightmares? It's understandable, right?
Yeah, I'm not discarding the theory.
Yeah.
I'm saying like it would be so unfortunate
Yeah.
that every time you are going to sleep and you're just trying to convince yourself that I hope it's a dreamless sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, and you're awake half of the time because you're scared to go to dreams.
And if I'm not wrong, there are
Scared to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Bogus. Correct me when I'm wrong.
Oh shit! Then
stop being
we
so.
couldn't get through a podcast episode if I started doing that. So for the greater good, I just let it be because we're all flawed, right, guys?
Bogus 1, Brut 0.
Love
So,
all it is,
goes to Bogus.
as it always has been.
Nonsense. It's not love all.
Nonsense
Never.
it is.
Nonsense it is.
So
But yeah, you're saying about a person who's so scared to go to sleep.
oh yeah, I've heard of cases where people actually take substances to try and ensure that they don't get any
Get
dreams.
sleep. They take drugs for not dreaming.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, imagine how bad it must have been.
Imagine how bad the dreams must have been.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I meant when
Okay.
I said like how bad it must have been.
Okay.
What is your worst dream? What's like the worst dream that you got?
Do you want to dive into that right away?
Yeah.
Oh shit! No warm up, no foreplay, nothing. We just go.
Foreplay about what? It's dreams, Bogus.
No, because you asked for the worst one. Not even like, hey, what's one
what's
you
the
remember?
dream that you remember?
Like
that's-
fondly.
That is not ThyGap stuff, guys. I mean, like, what is wrong with you? Everybody, that's like a Tinder question. What's the dream that you remember? That's a Tinder date question. This is not a Tinder date.
Aren't we trying to woo an audience to follow us?
Okay,
or
Bogus,
something?
for your own benefit.
No, I'm just fooling around.
Tell
but
me, don't fool around. I'm a girl. You are a girl.
I'm not fooling around.
You're
with
hitting
you.
on a macho guy like me.
I'm not fooling around with you. I'm fooling around with our listeners.
Oh,
You know.
stop doing that. We hardly have 3 or 4. You don't want to like disrespect them.
No, it's not disrespectful. We're being playful. We're being.
Your definition of playfulness is.
Mhm.
I don't think it bodes well with the generic description of playfulness.
Well, then you do it too. Then
Bogus.
at least either if my definition doesn't work.
So
yours
because
will
I'm
work at
already
least.
doing it, I don't think they need any more.
Oh, this is your playfulness?
Yeah.
Oh
this
my
is
god.
my cute playfulness. Do you want to play with the Barbie?
I think both of our definitions
Bogus,
are
stop
hopeless then.
digressing. Just answer my
Oh,
question.
I'm the one who's digressing.
You are the two who's digressing.
Right.
Okay, the worst dream.
The worst dream.
For the benefit of you, I'll ask the question again. Mr. Bogus Nook, what is your worst dream?
I object, Your Honor, because this was your topic.
We
I
don't
think
give a shit
it's
about
only
what
fair.
you object.
It's
I
on-
want to know your worst dream.
it's only fair that you go first with your worst dream because this is your topic.
Okay, I can tell the worst dream. It's
Go
very
ahead.
simple. Happened in, I think, when I was in my 12th,
Okay.
which was around like I was 16, 17, 18.
Notice how the voice changed, guys. It's performance,
Yeah,
peak
it's
performance. Yeah.
And it was a tiring day.
Mm-hmm.
I had a long day back in my college.
Oh god, you're
And-
achieving so many things at 12 standard.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
sure.
I went to play a game of cricket.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long game. Then I came back, went out to play some TT, table tennis,
Can we get to the point where you are being put to bed
and
and continue from there?
And then I came back home, had my dinner, and immediately because I was so tired, I went
Thank
to
God.
sleep.
It was almost sounding like one of my parcel posts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just trying
Okay.
to be in your shoes for
Okay.
once. It's exciting, actually.
Uh-huh.
The power I felt when I slept.
Oh my god.
No, but I slept basically. I went to sleep.
Yeah.
A normal day
Yeah.
for me, and so the dream starts off really pleasantly,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the sense, I went to my school with a bunch of my school friends,
Right.
and we were just there for some function, right?
Okay.
Some Independence Day celebration or something like that.
Okay.
And we were just roaming around the school saying that, hey, this is where we were, this is where we used to chill, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly there are these huge tornadoes coming towards our school, right? And big tornadoes
Yeah.
which are coming to our school, and everybody was like
So
running.
multiple, not just one big one.
There are two,
Okay.
exactly two.
Okay.
Okay. And we could make out that one was going away
Okay.
and one was coming towards the school.
Okay.
And we were in the playground,
Right.
all of us. And there was this bunch of, the couple of girls who were with us, and then all the gang.
Mm-hmm.
And we started running towards the shelter, right? So we know that there's this place in my school which kind of goes underground and then goes into the house and whatever, kindergarten section and all.
This
And
is in the dream or in real life as
like
well?
in real life as well, my school is structured like that.
Okay.
So we know those, places where you can take a shortcut or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were running towards one of the shortcut. And then I look back and I see that one of my friend was tripped and fell down and she's not able to get up.
Okay.
And the tornado is coming really fast. And I was like, I think I should help her out.
Damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress, but I never liked her, but whatever. So I go to pick her up and then the next thing I remember or the next thing that happens in the dream is I get sucked into the tornado.
Okay.
Right? And that's that. That's the end of scene 1. The next thing I remember, or the next thing that happens in the dream is I'm in my grandmother's house.
Okay.
To be more specific, I was in my grandmother's kitchen.
Okay.
Right? And I'm trying to call my grandmother. And at that age, I was just about taller than my grandmom, but I was looking down at her from the roof.
Okay. So when you say you're in your grandmother's kitchen, she was also there in the kitchen?
Yeah, she was also there. So she was cooking or doing something.
Okay.
And I was behind her and I'm looking at her from the height of the roof.
Got it.
From the ceiling.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm looking down as if like I'm floating in the air.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm calling at her and she's not responding for a decent amount of time. And then suddenly I start hearing my grandmom saying that, so I'm looking at my grandmom for some time and I'm trying to talk to her,
Right.
but she's not responding, right?
Right.
And after some time, I start hearing her voice, right? And but she's not looking at me.
She's not turning around.
She's not turning around to face me.
Right.
Neither is she moving her mouth, like uttering any words. But I'm still able to hear her voice. It was very telepathic kind of thing.
Okay.
Which was scaring me
Okay.
in my dream, right? And she was like, Brut, you're not supposed to be here. You're already dead. You're supposed to go figure out wherever you have to
You're
go.
already dead.
I'm already dead.
Oh, okay.
You're supposed to go wherever you're supposed to go. I think you just need to figure out there's no point hanging around. You're dead and we can't do anything about it. It's done and dusted. We burnt your body or whatever. The whole thing has happened. So, if you're here, then go off. That kind of hit me really hard. So the visual is still very strong in my head. Okay. I'm still looking at her. At this point, I'm crying in the dream.
Okay.
Saying that, how can I be dead?
Right.
Am I really dead? That whole conflict of, am I really dead or what is this happening?
So you are talking to her in the dream?
No, it was kind of like an internal conflict.
Okay.
Whilst I'm just still trying to call her and like have a conversation with her.
Right.
And she's telling all this to me without even looking at me.
This is all telepathic.
Yeah, it is just I'm hearing her voice in my head.
Right.
And I know that the way she's telling it to me is so indifferent.
Matter of fact.
It's a matter of fact thing. Like, rain falls, ground gets wet. Type.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you not even feeling bad that I died?
Yeah.
All those kind of thoughts.
Yeah.
And this happens for quite some time in the dream. I mean, you can't really measure time in dream, but you can feel that it is going on for too long times.
Right.
So at this point, I start thinking that, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a dream, right? And maybe I'm just sleeping because I'm trying to track it back as to what happened within the dream. And the last thing I remember is I tried to grab this girl and run away, but I was sucked into the tornado.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this happened. What happened before that? So I'm just trying to track back in the dream and I'm not able to go beyond a point. And so I start telling them maybe this is a dream because I don't remember a lot of shit. And somewhere I realized that I went to college, etc., etc. And I'm like, this doesn't bode well. Like, I'm in college. Why am I in school? Why did I go to school types?
Okay.
So the reason why this is so vivid is because
this is your internal dialogue
in the dream.
In the dream. You woke up.
Yeah, because at some level I was trying to convince myself that this is a dream. I'm not dead. Because that hit. The reason why I remember all this so briefly is one, I've told the story a gazillion times, and two, because the way my grandmother behaved with me. That is one image that never left me. That indifference with insensitivity with which she spoke to me in the dream. That's the most scariest shit I've ever went through. right? The fact that I died didn't bother her like at all.
And what
And
happened
this is the
next?
person. So the next thing is I'm trying to wake up. I try to open my eyes. I can't. I'm still floating around. And then I still try to call my grandmom and she's not responding. And then she tells that whatever it is, figure out there must be a light or something, something on those lines. She's telling it in Telugu.
Right.
So she's like, there is something who will probably help you, or there's a light or some shit like that.
Say the actual Telugu lines for our Telugu
She's like,
audience.
నీకు ఒక వెలుగు కనబడుతుందిరా అక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపో.
Okay.
Right? Which means you'll see a light, just go that direction.
Follow the light.
Right. Follow the light. And then she walks off
Okay.
of the kitchen and then everything dims out.
Uh-huh.
And God knows how long later I woke up in my house. Right? And the first thing I see when I wake up is my grandfather, my father's father.
Right.
And my grandmother was my mother's mother who I was talking about, who I saw in my dream.
Okay.
Right? And the first thing I see my grandfather, like, okay, so there is that hangover of, is this a dream? Is this real? What just happened? Kind of a thing. You're dazed kind of a thing. And I ran to my grandfather and I said, hey, and I was really close to him. And I said, like, see, this is a dream I got. And you're the first person I'm telling it to. So you're lucky, number one. Number two, can you help me out figure out what just happened to me? And I tell him that, this is what happened. Like, briefly, I told him I died, whatever. And he just like brushes it off, saying that, hey, don't worry. You're going to live long.
Okay.
That's what it means. So don't worry about it. And then I go to my father, telling the same thing. And, and I added that this is what grandfather told. What do you think? And he was like, I don't think it's a dream. Doesn't matter a lot. Weird shit happens in dreams. So, I don't think, yeah, I know it's kind of scary. It might have kind of taken you by surprise or something, but, you should be fine with it. For the next 4 days, I was so scared to sleep, like go to bed.
Okay.
I used to I tried to avoid, I wanted to sleep naturally rather than putting myself to sleep type. So I used to watch TV till like 2-3 in the night and like sleep off in front of the TV.
Right.
And that happened for 3-4 days. And then I saw that I was not getting any dreams. I was like, okay, fine, maybe it is, that was the worst dream, like the worst dream that I got. There were other dreams, but this is the one that scared the shit out of me.
Wow.
See?
So it almost sounds like astral projection, although it's not that. In your dream, literally, you were sensing that you were already dead.
Yeah. Oh, so the other thing I also want to add on is I couldn't see my hands.
Yeah, it's very common. Like the specific defined features like hands.
Yeah,
even
the things that
people's
you can
faces,
make out.
Like even people's faces, you can make out like, oh, this is my best friend from school,
Yeah.
so and so. But if you try to look at his face or something, you can't see the face. Or
Yes, sir.
I know for me, it's like faces are not very clear.
I can see faces. I can see. So there's another thing. They say that you can't see color in dream. I can see colors in my dream.
I think I've seen colors in dreams.
Yeah, like I see like vivid colors in my dreams.
So
like,
it may be different things for different people then.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, I don't know. I don't know the science behind it, but they generally say the common things that they say is you can't run in your dream. You can't check time in your dream. You can't see color in your dream. And the other thing is you can't create something in your dream. Like in the sense, if you're trying to say like tie a rope or something, right? You can never do that. You can't finish a job. You always see yourself as roaming around or just talking to people and all, but you can't do an activity in a dream.
Well, there are contrary beliefs to this and practices as well. We'll get into that, but I want to go back to your question, which is first. Now you said what your worst dream was, and I guess it's my turn now.
No. We are brushing past. We don't care about your worst dream. You
Awesome.
insulted my question.
Awesome. Then
No, you turned it around like a typical politician. You avoided your answer.
it was your topic, so you should go first.
Okay,
It's only
fine.
fair.
Don't beg now. What's your worst dream?
My worst dream.
Meeting me. Like, you can be honest.
No, that was a living nightmare. The dreams are after you go to sleep, right? So worst dream, actually, I do have a few top contenders. There's not one that pulls through
Yeah.
clearly, but
Once you tell your worst dream, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the theory behind dreams and how it's connected to a person.
Okay. And that could be bad shit as well, your theory, right? Because
No, it's a scientific theory.
no. My worst dream, like I said, I have a few that take first place. There's not one that prominently pulls ahead in comparison with others. So this is one dream which I had during my college days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Engineering.
Inter.
Yeah,
So-
same time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Maybe it is that whole adolescence thing that kind of gives you weird dreams.
I don't know, but for people who may not know the terminology, inter is basically 11th
And 12th.
12th standard. So when I was in my inter, one night, I dreamt and I literally saw this play out like a movie scene. Okay. So I was seeing it from the third person perspective. And I saw myself. It was late night in the city. You know, there was a narrow alley, like a lane, gully, right?
Why does it sound vulgar when you say gully?
Gully. So I saw myself, I was in a bad state. I was heavily intoxicated, drunk.
In your 11th.
No, in the dream.
You had a dream
Yeah.
in your 11th where you were drunk.
Yeah. So I was heavily drunk and I was not seeing myself as a 11th standard student or a boy. It looked like a fully grown man.
Oh, so this was a dream of the future.
I don't know. But basically, I was seeing myself as a fully grown man. And I was absolutely shit-faced to the point where what I was wearing was like a kurta pajama. And it was almost like sweaty and ripped.
Wow.
You know, I was that bad. And
You were beaten up basically.
I was not beaten up, but I just had drunk myself to that point. And I was stumbling along. Like I was finding it hard to walk in a straight line. I was kind of swaying from here and there, trying to make an effort of walking from point A to point B. So basically I was coming out of this gully, this lane, and I was touching the main road.
Yeah.
So I was on my way to the main road. And it was late in the night. There was no one around. Like you could hear sounds of like if a dog barks or anything, it really sounds, right? So that kind of a night, there was no one around. And to my left, there was a section where some kind of construction was happening. Okay, so the building foundation was just laid and it's just still the bamboo sticks for support and the tarp.
Yeah.
You know, the blue tarp to cover. So it's all that.
Yeah.
And as I walk across, I come to a point where exactly to my left is this construction site. Okay. And for some reason, I look to my left towards this construction site, and at the ground level, there's like an illuminated tunnel. Okay. I mean, it's like
like the Alice in Wonderland kind of a tunnel.
No, nothing too fantastical, you know, like as if the construction
basically
people
bulbs. So when you say illuminated, basically the lights in a
so
tunnel.
it looked like it was just like tarp was covered.
Right.
And there was some depth and there were lights. So
you made it sound so fancy.
I know, but it is still a dream, right? It's a weird dream. So it looked like there were lights going on into this tunnel kind of thing caused by this tarp. And I don't know why, but I was going towards that.
Suddenly just took like a
I
left.
just took a detour and I started going left 90 degrees towards this tunnel. I'm not sure why. And then as I'm getting closer and closer to this tunnel, to the entrance of the tunnel, right, at the very end behind, I can see a faint figure of a girl. She's standing at the very end and she's dressed in this traditional Indian like
sari,
half
sari.
No, it was like a ghagra choli.
Oh, okay.
Like that kind of a thing, like lehenga. You know, that kind of very ornate kind of dressing. You know, and she was standing at that end, and I'm drunk, obviously, right?
True.
I'm a drunk guy who's alone, and I see a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
So now my speed is increasing.
Yeah.
Right towards
You're
that
walking
tunnel.
faster.
I'm stumbling rather faster towards the tunnel. I'm trying to make my way. And as I get closer, I can see better and better of the girl. Still not her facial features or anything.
Yeah.
But I can make out it's a beautiful girl. This just beautiful.
Is she facing you or facing the other way?
No, she was facing the other way.
Oh, okay. And you still could make out she's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Just
The vision that you have in dreams.
I know.
The powers you have in dreams.
Can appreciate beauty even when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
But basically, the minute I get to the entrance of the tunnel, right, this is where it gets all kinds of fucked up for me. The minute I just go past the entrance of the tunnel, I have no control over my motor skills anymore. Like I'm getting sucked into the tunnel now at almost like supersonic speed. All of a sudden, I start getting sucked into it, and as if something is pulling me. I'm not walking anymore. I'm like flying, and I remember being like suddenly taken aback by like what just happened? Like why suddenly all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And then before I realize, I'm getting closer and closer to this girl.
Yeah.
Right? And as I'm getting closer, I notice that just behind the girl where she's standing, there's a bed, like a round bed with that satin sheet.
This honeymoon bed.
The honeymoon kind of bed, okay?
Yeah.
And she's standing in front of it. And she's turning the other way. As I'm getting closer, right? Slowly she turns towards me. And I'm literally zooming at her, flying. And now I can see her face is beautiful. It's like gorgeous. And I'm stuck in between two places where one, I'm happy that I'm hurling towards this girl, right? I'm in my imagine the hormones, right? We're happy to get some even in our dreams, guys.
Right. Wherever it is possible.
Wherever you can get some. So I'm happy, but there's also the part of me where I can sense something is off. I can sense something is wrong.
This is not a good thing.
This is not a good thing because I'm flying towards her. I have no control. I can't turn around. I can't look behind me. Absolutely paralyzed.
Right.
And then I come closest to her and then I suddenly leap.
Over her.
My body leaps like over her almost. Not completely over, but at a height where I'm looking down at her now.
Right.
And then she starts falling back on the bed as I'm leaping, reaching her, right?
Right.
In a way that I would fall on the bed right on top of her. Okay, so slow motion, she starts falling.
Right.
And I start coming on top of her. I'm falling now.
Right.
The scariest part was when she was about to hit the bed, right?
Yeah.
Her face suddenly turns into the most horrific kind of thing that I've ever seen. And I'm actually getting sucked into this now.
Yeah.
And
now it's too late.
It's too late. Like I'm already vertically on top of her. And I'm falling on her now.
Right.
And that's when her face suddenly turns.
Right.
And I'm all of a sudden like, oh, I remember that kind of a sound.
Yeah.
And then I just woke up like fully in sweats.
Oh, was it like a sleep paralysis moment for you? But
no,
at
but
no point you were
my other scariest moment was a sleep paralysis moment.
Oh, that's you get only one chance.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine. But this is the one I would pick.
Your worst dreams are not so exciting to hear. I mean,
are you kidding? That shit was like,
I mean, how averse were you to women after this dream? Like, how insecure were you to like women after these dreams?
More than I already was. What are you talking about?
Oh, so it's just a continuation of reality.
I mean, you got to understand the context. I come from a boarding school, only boys. Socialization was allowed. It's even in my inter, it happened to be a boys inter college.
Oh,
right?
sweet.
So the torture
it just got
continued.
extended.
Yeah.
But that is scary, yeah.
Oh,
because
it was really scary.
That's like you're covering both the extremes, like the one extreme of excitement to the other extreme of I don't know what you call the opposite of excitement. Dick-citement, like
that's a good word. It's a ThyGap podcast exclusive, guys. Dick-citement.
After dream phobia.
By the end of 2021, these words would have been added to the Oxford Dictionary.
Absolutely.
Let me give it to you in writing.
Yeah, and dick-cited is spelled as DISC. Itement. Right. So for anybody who's trying to
the reason why that dream stands out for me was in a fraction of a second. The thrill and the excitement just turns to pure horror.
Yeah.
And it was already fantastical and out of my control a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I was already scratching my head like, why am I grown up? Why am I drunk? Why am I this drunk? I don't even drink that much.
Right.
And going after the girl, that is the only thing that I could relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
The desperation.
yeah.
But
everything else was like, I can't explain it.
Do you ever wonder whether, any of these dreams, do they make sense? Like in my real time? In the sense, that's the question. Like, do you ever wonder, like, do these dreams make sense, or are they just like these illogical fantasies or illogical, like, scenarios that, are maybe at some point, kind of, I might have thought about it, but really didn't act upon it. And my dreams are a place where I'm just trying to like experience them on a first-hand basis.
For me, subjectively, that has never been the case. The kind of dreams I get are so otherworldly and bizarre.
I mean, you never even saw
surreal.
like a distinct relation to
I could
any
never.
of your personality or internal thoughts or anything like that?
No, the closest my dreams could connect to something real was ESP. The extrasensory perception or deja vu. You have those moments of deja vu, right? That is the closest that my dreams have gotten to in real life.
Never like a premonition of,
no,
something that happened in a dream and then you see it happening
no.
in few days.
That's never worked for me, but we have heard enough of those cases.
I have it.
Oh, especially women, wives, mothers, they tend to have...
Yeah, would-be mothers, they say that, they sometimes can figure out the gender, like, of the baby which is unborn, which is still in the womb. They can kind of sense the gender of the baby through dreams or stuff like that.
Yeah, you know how
and there
are, Julius Caesar's wife begged him not to go to that meeting because she had a dream the previous day that he would be killed.
Yeah.
And so she told him about the dream and she told him, don't go.
Right.
He was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to go.
Yeah. And like, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
You must be like, this is Julius Caesar. I'm sure he's male chauvinistic.
Yeah. So he went and Brutus
was involved, guys.
Always there's a brute to stab you in the back.
ThyGap was existing even then in the age-old ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
We just came out today because we feel the time is right.
The simplest theory that I was able to come to was when I take a look at computers, and the function that screensavers play in computers.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, why do we even have a screensaver? What is it? What is its purpose in a computer? I'm not an expert. I could be wrong about this, but my guess, educated guess, is rather than leaving the computer idle, because that's when the screensaver comes on, what it is doing is the screensaver, what it does is it's a very, like mundane kind of task that it's running in the background. So there is a definitive task that is being run just as a stopgap before you come back and do something heavy like Excel and all that stuff. It is just running something in the back because it's not being used at the moment. And also the screen as well is refreshing those pixels, and there seems to be a need to refresh those pixels every now and then. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a screensaver. Okay, let's go with that. Now, when you're dreaming, your brain can't go off because your brain going off is a coma or death. So your brain has to be running still while you're sleeping. So what does it do? It creates dreams.
It plays out dreams, you're saying?
It plays out dreams as a screensaver. And and the function for that could be sometimes, all of us go through this where we're sleeping, we're halfway between the wakeful state and the sleeping state. Then all of a sudden our bodies jerk because we would have been thinking about trekking a mountain or jumping from some high place to a lower place. But in your bed, your body just jerks, right?
Yeah.
Because you kind of think you're there.
Yeah. The falling effect kind of a thing.
So I feel like this dream screensaver, its utility is to keep the body going, keep the mind going. Like one mundane task that the mind can hold on to.
But okay, the reason...
Maintenance activity, kind of.
I get it. But I have a couple of things that don't help me buy the idea.
Okay.
I'm going to, the comparison of the screensaver to it. The function of a computer running a screensaver to function of a brain running a dream.
Right.
First of all, dreams are not a mundane task. is what I feel.
Okay.
The second thing is the
From
computer.
whose perspective, though?
From the perspective who's dreaming.
But what about the perspective of the machine that's running the dream?
Like I said, see, it is not a mundane task because it is, like you said, the body feels it too.
Yeah.
As much as it might not be real, but
Yeah.
it is reacting to whatever is happening in the dream
Yeah.
in a very realistic sense.
Yes.
Now, for instance, let's say that's simulation. Okay? Brain is overdoing it to give you a very realistic feel. Okay, great. The second thing is, or more, the primary thing is, a computer always knows that the screensaver is running, and so do you. Correct? But the brain, though it's running the dreams, you'll not always know that the dreams are running. There are times where it's a dreamless sleep, right? And if you actually think about it, majority of the times it's a dreamless sleep.
But that's the thing. We tell ourselves it's a dreamless sleep because we cannot consciously remember.
Exactly. That's
any
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
dreams.
So it's something that we don't quite know surely about.
All of this is something we don't know surely about.
No, you know a dream has come, right? Come
Yeah.
on. So that you know for sure that, hey, this is a dream I got.
No, but that could only mean...
I jumped on a chick and she turned into a ghost. That's a dream.
Well,
period.
That is a dream. See, the thing is that I'm still able to remember because it was weird enough for me to remember.
I'm sure
There's so
you'll
many
remember.
Other dreams. There's so many other dreams that had nothing going on. And I don't even remember those dreams.
Yeah,
now.
but then you know it briefly that the dream happened.
But
don't tell me you never had a sleep where you never even thought that a dream even happened. You just slept. You woke up like, it's 7 hours since I slept. And
many times.
I didn't even feel like it was 7 hours.
Many times, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So you don't quite remember your dreams all the time.
Yeah.
Which is why that comparison doesn't fit well in my head. That a computer is running a screensaver and that's exactly how the brain is also functioning.
Why not?
Because of this fact. Because...
Why do you have to remember?
No, I'm saying it's not a compulsion that I have to remember. But with a screensaver thing, I remember that I know that a screensaver is running every single time.
Because you set it up. I think the first thing you said, if I remember correctly, was the computer knows it's running a screensaver.
And you set it up.
No, the difference there, it's a subtle but important thing to remember. The computer doesn't know shit. The computer is actually an idiot box that you give instructions. And unless you tell it to run a screensaver, it's not going to run a screensaver.
Correct.
It knows nothing. It just knows, master told to do this, I'm doing this. That's it.
I agree, Your Honor. Yeah.
So it is you who set up the screensaver to run when you check out of the place. Like, I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. When I step out after 5 minutes, I set up my computer to start running a screensaver.
That's accurate, yes.
When you're sleeping, what you're doing, you're checking out consciously, and the screensaver or the dream is running in the background in a similar way.
And I am asking a simple question.
What?
How do you set up a dream?
Set up a dream in the sense, this is not you consciously doing it.
How do you enable?
We can't.
So you're saying it's a default system?
See, again, you're getting hung up. It's the machine of the body, the brain.
Yeah, and I'm.
So you're not consciously doing it.
You're saying it's a default system.
Yeah.
That whenever you go to sleep, the brain kicks in the screensavers.
Screensaver, yeah. Because it has to...
Still don't buy it.
It has to go through the night. The mind is like a fickle monkey, right? You got to keep it occupied.
Yeah, but I still don't buy it.
But then again, there's also this supernatural, paranormal kind of things that come into dreams.
Yeah.
That makes you question if it is just a screensaver or if it's a screensaver that also has another purpose, like a dual purpose to it sometimes. Like you said, premonitions or weird vibes, some odd people showing up in your dreams all of a sudden.
Which was the next part I wanted to touch upon. Have you ever changed your perspective because of a dream? With respect to anything. It might be people towards a job or towards a thing, a bike or something, like whatever. Did it ever so happen to you that you had a dream about something or someone and then you wake up with an all new perspective about that person?
No.
You're a dull, dumb human being.
Quite the contrary. My dreams
manufactured.
I don't know why my dreams always tend to be so weird that I find it very hard to relate it to anything in my waking life. I dream of worlds, dude, like different worlds of their own, where the culture is different, the clothing is different. it is so much for me to take in, and that's why it's so hard for me to relate any of that to.
So then you must be believing in the fact that a lot of inventions might have come from a dream.
Oh yeah, I mean daydreaming, night dreaming and daydreaming, they both tend to have that effect on our waking life, which is, it could be a channel for inspiration, it could be a hidden message, like you said.
Yeah.
And in my case, it is just watching some of the weirdest shit that I can't understand. So
you, going back to the question I asked, so you
Right.
never had a change of perspective after a dream.
No.
That's ironical. I mean, that is fascinating for me. So the thing I started doing as an experiment is, I don't know if you do it. I don't know how you sleep in general.
Mhm.
I sleep on my sides,
Okay.
right? In, like, they call it the fetal position.
Right.
The hands are in between your
Right.
this thing, right?
Yeah.
So every time I sleep on my right side,
Mhm.
on my right shoulder, I get better dreams, like happier dreams.
Okay.
I mean, I get dreams which are pleasant, which are very happy-go-lucky. I'm just having fun with a bunch of my friends, or I'm in a cricket match or whatever, like in a proper dreamy situation.
Right.
Every time I sleep on my left side,
Mhm.
things get a little out of hands.
That's weird.
And this is something that I've actually noted down, this stuff. Like, I mean, the moment it's a bad dream, right?
Mhm.
When I wake up, I try to see which hand is touching the bed. So when you wake up, when you're on side,
Mhm.
the side you're just sleeping is the hand
Yeah.
which kind of supports you, right?
Right.
And I immediately kind of make a note that, it was the left side.
Mhm.
And the other dreams where I have pleasant dreams and I happily wake up, then I see most of the times I'm on my right side. So that is another, I don't know what is the connection again.
The reason why I find it doubly weird is because if you're sleeping on your side,
Yeah.
the correct position to sleep in is actually on your left, because the way your digestive system and all is structured.
Yes.
Because if you sleep on your right, you can end up with heartburn or acidity. But if you sleep on your left,
Yeah.
then it goes properly, like the
It's
whole
pretty
system.
weird. Yeah.
It digests properly, the food.
Yeah.
So it's weird that when you sleep on your right, you're getting happier dreams, when I would have imagined the other way around, because your
it
body
is-
is,
I mean, I didn't look at it from this angle,
Right.
actually, which is pretty interesting.
which is why I'm here.
Yeah, shut up. You are here because I let you.
When the student is ready, the master appears, bro.
Bogus, there are great teachings in learning, okay?
Yeah,
The great learnings in teaching, okay?
right.
I just put it the exact opposite way.
That's why I'm here.
No, shut up.
In my case, what comes closest to what you described is, I don't have the right-left weirdo nonsense like you, but my thing is, if I want to ensure that I do dream, like I want to go into
Substance abuse.
No.
That's how you go about it?
No.
Like,
No, it doesn't work, because if I want to ensure that I should dream tonight, I want to dream something,
yeah.
then all I have to do is I have to switch my head and feet, the place.
You sleep the other way around.
I just sleep the other way around. Chances are that I seem to increase my chances of dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to really dream, like increase my chances of dreaming, but I also want to increase the chance of it being weird or fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
I should sleep opposite side, but during odd hours. Like if I go to sleep facing the other way, like at afternoon, to wake up sometime at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or something, if I do that, I'm bound to get like a weird fucked up dream. I don't know why. I don't know what connection that is, but that's the closest that I could figure some kind of a mechanism that's close to yours.
Yeah. But I mean, I think every man for himself in this. As if
Yeah.
You said your whole
Weirdo nonsense?
weirdo nonsense as if it's a common thing. I put my head where my feet are and I dream.
That's why it's
As
funny
if,
for
like,
me,
that
because
doesn't make
this
sense.
is also weirdo nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is some math to the whole which way do you face while you sleep?
I mean, traditionally we face south.
East.
When we're sleeping, your head faces south, right? In traditional Vastu.
No, you're supposed to.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
in the traditional
South
Vastu,
facing bedroom.
You should never put your head towards the north or in north.
Something like that.
You should put your head facing the north, not at facing south.
So my current bedroom also follows Vastu.
Uh-huh.
So if I switch my head and feet, I'm going to increase my chances of dreaming for some reason.
Oh, that bit I've never seen. It never worked. I dream whichever direction I sleep in.
Okay.
I mean, that never seemed to be. I did even check out that angle, by the way, where you put your head facing east, you put your head towards west, and all that.
Right.
The only thing that I've and this is grandma tales. She always used to tell that never put your head in north, like facing south. Always put your head either facing east or facing north.
I don't know about discounting these grandma tales because, what I've done is exactly the opposite of what she prescribed.
Yeah.
And that is usually when I get weird dreams.
So. The electromagnetic forces work on your body in different ways.
Yeah.
But
I forgot. I just remembered because you were going on and on for so long in this episode, just yapping nonstop.
Because it is my topic, Bogus. I don't have any right to speak.
I had a bunch of questions to ask you.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, shoot.
The first dream that you described,
seconds.
The one where you
died,
sensed that you were already dead.
Yeah.
Was there anything weird when you went to sleep? Like, was the time too late, or did you sleep
normal,
odd angle, or something like that? Nothing like that.
No, normal.
Everything was
normal.
routine.
I was probably. Let me recollect the bed I was sleeping in, and I was facing north. It was normal.
Okay.
I mean, I was sleeping in that position for a long time.
Okay, that answers the question. And there was nothing odd about the time as well?
No, normal time.
Okay.
Normal time.
Okay.
It was a weekend.
My next question is about these common popular dreams that people tend to get. I want to check how many of these have you got, or you have not gotten of these dreams at all. So one is teeth falling out. Have you ever?
Nope.
Okay. Falling from a great height. Have you ever?
Once or twice. Not a lot. Not worth remembering types.
Okay.
I mean, the whole falling effect, I did experience that.
Okay.
But it is not scary, or it was not types or anything.
Got it. Appearing for an exam. Have you ever?
None that I can think of.
Okay. Then landing soft punches, no matter how hard you try.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. So of these, teeth falling out, I've never had. Oh, being naked in public.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. So teeth falling out, I've never had, but the common understanding for that seems to be that you're, what was it? I forgot. If you're embarrassed, or I don't know what it is, but it's a common
childhood trauma, maybe.
No. It's a very, mundane kind of explanation.
Okay.
Teeth falling out, which I never had. Falling from a great height, I've not had. I don't remember many significant things of those. Landing soft punches. This is something that I've had like twice or thrice or 4 times. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's been more than once.
Like you try to punch really hard, but you're not able to. Right?
No, it's not like you're trying to punch really hard, okay? It's you want to punch hard.
Yeah.
You're swinging hard.
Yeah. But
it lands on their face, it is still full force. For some reason, right? It doesn't.
The impact is not the same.
It just lands like pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, what is going on? Like
I don't have that, but I had dreams where I want to run.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run hard, but I'm not running at my
being
normal
chased.
speed.
Have you ever had that? Being chased?
Yeah. Being chased quite a lot.
By a snake?
No. Okay. I get so the 2 recurring dreams. One dream is me and my sister are playing outside my house, and we for some reason are always very small. And I get that dream even today, by the way. I've been getting this dream since my childhood.
You're kids.
We are kids. We are small kids. And it's late at night. And we are playing in the alley in front of my house. Out of nowhere, a full-grown, big-ass tiger turns into our lane.
Okay.
And we both kind of get startled. And my sister is behind me. And the tiger comes running and it leaps at me. And I duck. And the tiger kind of goes above me. And now I turn back to see what happened to my sister. And as I turn, the tiger already is jumping on me. It's about to land on me.
Right.
And the dream gets over. It's a very short dream. And even till date, I have the same, experience of that last second when the tiger, like I know it by heart types.
Yeah.
The moment I see the tiger like that kid, that small me,
Right.
is basically saying, hey, now you got to duck. It's going to jump. You got to duck. Okay. And I duck successfully. And as I'm getting up and turning back, I'm telling, just check out your sister.
Okay.
It's never that see if that like run forward or anything.
Yeah.
It's the same repetitive action of me ducking and immediately trying to check out my sister behind me, and the tiger is almost about to jump on me. Right?
So I gave you scenarios.
Yeah.
And I asked you which,
yeah.
and surprisingly, most of them you were not. Although I do have to add, the tiger one, even I have multiple dreams
You
of
got snakes
tigers.
in your dreams?
No, my classmates used to get a lot of snakes. I never got snakes for some
What
reason.
is this? Like
I don't know what's behind that, but I got tigers though.
tigers, I got snakes.
Oh, I got snakes, dude.
Snakes
Yeah,
are
I remember
weird
one.
in dreams.
I remember one especially scary dream with snakes. Yeah.
Snakes, it was not scary for me, but you find snakes to be extremely powerful in a dream. I don't know why. Like, you just don't know how to tackle a snake in a dream, you know?
Right.
And most of the times when I got a snake in my dream, right, they were just standing still. It was not like it was going into an attacking position or it was running here and there or anything of that sort.
Okay.
It's just standing and it's just like doing that whole swaying thing.
Oh, shit.
And all I'm doing is like staring at it and like, how is this thing so powerful?
Right. This is almost cute. Your description.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's just swaying.
It's just
with
swaying
its hood open.
Yeah, it's like with the hood open.
Mine, you know what mine was? Like mine was.
Did it bite you?
No. It was more than that. So mine was.
Was it a python? Or
Yes.
like a cobra? It was a python?
And not just that. It was not just one. You know, I was
Multiple.
standing in a dormitory, kind of like a huge hall. And from that end to this end, it is filled. It's like snakes went out of control. And they're all
snakes on plane type kind of scene.
Yeah, it's like all the snakes none of them are small snakes. They're all either python, boa constrictor, or anaconda body shapes.
Yeah, big ass snakes.
Big ass snakes, like tubes. They're going all around. And I'm like going out of my mind because, first of all, I'm repulsed by snakes.
Reptiles or only snakes? Is
Snakes
it lizards
a lot.
also?
I mean, lizards also a little bit, but snakes a lot.
Okay.
So, and then in the dream, I remember I tried to get out of there. When I got out of there, I found myself in this dark rainforest kind of garden, thick garden with trees. And what do I see? Again, from branch to branch, everywhere it's the same big ass tube-shaped snakes.
Yeah.
And man, I was not happy.
Yeah.
I was not happy being there.
Yeah.
So none of them, I don't remember any of them coming out to bite me or anything, but just the vibe.
Based on this dream, if you were to become a superhero in DC Comics, you would be called the Snake Man. The other exciting dreams that I got was, you know about my pet dog, right?
Yeah.
There was this one dream, which was a very long ass dream, where he spoke to me like any other person.
Right.
And he was telling me stuff which I used to tell people as jokes, saying that, hey, this guy is the reason I am popular. Like, I get chicks to talk to me because of him, blah, blah, blah. And the whole dream was almost about this guy validating my jokes.
Right.
Saying that, you know what, it's not because of me. This girl is not good for you. Or stop telling things to people, etc., etc., etc. And I'm like, whoa. And I was super happy in the dream that, oh, this guy is talking to me. And the other thing was like, why is he talking to me? Like, what makes him talk to me types?
Being Brut, everyone, has to make his dog talk in his dreams to validate his own jokes.
Yep. Secret ingredient of my jokes to be extremely funny.
Yeah.
I go to sleep asking my dog to validate them.
But to come back to those common types, right?
Yeah.
The examination one is one that I keep getting a lot because I have considerable amount of trauma from exams.
Facing exams?
Yeah.
Writing exams?
Writing exams because I never was interested in the subject matter, but there was a part of me that hated looking at a question paper that seemed like Greek and Latin. I hated going through that entire experience.
Right.
So I do tend to get every now and then, not nowadays, but it's gone down, but I used to get dreams where I'm sitting in an exam hall and I'm panicked because I know I don't know shit.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one thing. Being naked in public, which you said no for you.
Never, dude.
For me, only once. There were 2 dreams in which I was naked in public. One was the common embarrassment kind.
Yeah.
And this is one of the most common ones that people get for some reason. And the other one involved me and another girl in public, in the street, getting it on. So it was not so much embarrassing, but I was just like, this is such a weird place to. And
Do
it was,
it, yeah.
and it was very intense. And we were standing.
No.
Very intense.
Still no.
Yeah, still no. So
I never got it.
You never got it on?
No. No, that I did.
Okay.
Not the whole public naked thing.
You never got it on in public in your dream?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just
I was
curious.
very sophisticated and ethical even in my dreams.
You had etiquette, like
That too.
even in your dreams.
Yes.
Like,
I was nice to the girl.
yeah.
She was nice to me.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Even when you closed the door before getting it on, you hung a sock outside to let
Let the people know, do not disturb.
in my dream.
Yes.
Yes.
One thing that I wanted to ask, have you got like a real-time dream? Real-time
What
dream.
does that mean, real time?
So what I mean by real-time dream is you're kind of, you doze off into a nap, say in a classroom. And the dream is a continuation of the classroom. And it's going in a very weird direction.
The closest I came to this was during if I
Is it a scary dream?
no.
Oh shit. I'll tell you my dream and it's ridiculous.
Oh, okay. The closest I came was whenever I played any video game intensely in the past, like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, then
so you play them for so many hours, right? Like Grand Theft Auto, Oblivion, Skyrim, Witcher.
I used to get that in Call of Duty and
Yeah, and you start
Age of Empires.
when I go to bed after playing like, I don't know, 8 hours or 9 hours of that game, when I go to bed, I see the same world.
Yeah.
So that's the closest I have, but go ahead with your scary
So
one.
this is a very, like ridiculous stuff, okay? Basically, I used to work at this place where the office was beside like a graveyard.
Okay.
And so my office space was like a little lower than the graveyard, right? Like it was like about in the cellar types.
Right.
And most often than not, I used to be alone in the office late in the evening. There was this one day where I kind of...
So you're
dozed
saying you were at face level with dead bodies?
off. Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Respect to them. There's this one day where I kind of dozed off. Okay. And it was a long day. It was hot summer day. And kind of got tired, went around for meetings and all.
Right.
Kind of dozed off. And then, so I was in this room and I saw... in my dream, or it was I didn't know it was a dream rather.
Right.
I saw like a shadow from the doorway. Okay. And at first I didn't really care about it. And then what happened was I see somebody in a very, very downtrodden face and was wearing a typical security guy's clothes.
Okay.
And hair is messy, red eyes. He looked like a very tired man. And he's peeking into the doorway, through the door, at me sitting at the table.
Right.
And it's just the continuation of exactly where I was sitting.
Right.
Shit scary, right? And then I kind of wake up startled. And I was like, okay, I see that 2 hours have passed or whatever.
Right.
And it was very dark. Had a chilly air because the lights weren't on.
In the hot summer afternoon, like you were saying?
Yeah, it was a chilly air because it's already it already became night. I kind of was there around 6 o'clock or something.
Okay.
And it was 8 by the time I woke up. And the lights were off and all. And there was something airy about that place.
Right.
And then there is this person. Suddenly I hear, "Sir," right in front of me.
After you've woken up.
After I've woken up, I'm on the laptop and there's only the laptop light filling the room.
Yeah.
And then I hear, "Sir," one
Right.
like lady's voice.
Yeah.
I look up and there is this maid, right, who just came in to check what I was doing so late in the office.
Oh, okay.
The first thing is I almost got up and punched her,
Right.
right? Saying, never sneak up to me like that. Right. And never like you knock the door before you come. Whatever. And chilling Nesab, I just came to check out why you are there. I saw that the door was open. Generally, you go off by so and so time, blah, blah, blah. I was just trying to check out if everything is fine.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you for that. Packed up, ran out of that place, locked this thing and all.
Right.
And then about a couple of months later, there's a guy who comes and tells me, one of my friend's friend, tells me that, who lives close by to that office place, by the way.
Right.
Comes and tells that, by the way, there's a person who died right behind.
Yeah.
You kind of like been hearing stories, whatever. But that's word of the past. And I was like, how long back was this? And I think about 8 months back or some shit.
Oh, the past.
And I was like, this is past for you?
Exactly.
Are you crazy?
The distant past.
This is not even like...
It's fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh. It's like present.
Yeah.
In their world, like this might be like right now.
It's fresh haunted territory.
Yeah. So I was like, shit, and never did I stay there alone after 5:36.
Right.
I mean, in winters, I would like chuck off by 4:30.
Right.
That was another thing. Like, I mean, me seeing somebody peeking in for a long time, I actually thought that maybe somebody came and saw me, It was that like vivid. And I don't know, have you ever experienced that?
Continued from the same situation.
And have you ever experienced that spine-chilling air suddenly out of nowhere?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That is something that, I mean, I'm not a big fan. I'm sure a lot of people are not a big fan of it. But those are the ones which I avoid. Like, I voluntarily start telling myself it's a dream. The moment those kind of dreams start in my head, I lose my shit. It's horrible.
The closest connection I had to this, continuation, the real-time thing, which is the sleep paralysis example.
Oh.
Which is, I went to sleep late in the night, sometime around, I think it must be 3:30, something like that, very late, when I was, again, in my early engineering days. And it must have been around...
And this was was it like a hostel or your home?
No, my home.
Okay.
And this was around, I guess it must have been 4:30 or 5 in the morning. And all of a sudden, I sense the kitchen, which is right outside my bedroom in my old place. I sense peanuts being fried in the kitchen. And I get the smell of roasted peanuts. Okay. And that is the first thing that makes the hair on my neck, so to speak, metaphorically, go up. And I'm feeling that weird spine-chilling vibe right from then on. Because I'm like, who's roasting peanuts when I'm sleeping? There's no one awake. And
everybody was there at home, right?
Yeah, everyone was there at home.
Got it.
And then I sense someone entering my room. And then I sense or I hear the Dhayyalu, the sound. What do you call Dhayyalu? Anklets. They make that sound every time every footstep,
every step
that's coming closer to me. I sense that it's anklets. So from that I pictured this is a woman. Okay, and she's approaching me, and I'm sleeping on my stomach. So my back is up. And while all this is going on, it's also happening so fast for me to realize that it's happening.
Right.
This woman comes close to me, and my body gets more and more weirded out as she comes closer. Then I'm almost picturing her now standing next to my sleeping body. And she seems to be dressed like a tribal, like a Lambada, Banjara type of woman.
Right.
And all of a sudden, she's standing beside and I'm sleeping really close to the edge of the bed. So she's standing close to my body. And the next thing I know, she is on my back. She's sitting on my back and she's pushing down. And this is the sleep paralysis.
Right.
So that is when it kicks in. And I'm feeling extreme pressure pushing me down because she's sitting on my back. And I remember when I was sleeping, when I was feeling this as well, I remember being so uncomfortable you know. And I, with every bit of energy in my body, I pushed my head to just turn around. And I was thinking, I don't know what is going to happen, but this is the only thing I can do. I want to confront. At least let me confront. So I wanted to turn. It was very hard for me to even turn my head around because my sleep paralysis, right? You lose control of your motor senses.
I've never had it, touch wood.
That's basically what sleep paralysis is. You completely lose sense of your... It's like paralysis.
Right.
So I want to move. I want to turn my head around and see, but I'm not able to. So it takes me all of my strength to literally jump out and just turn around, like as if I'm facing my
worst fear of
attacker, like assailant.
Right.
Like that, I turn around. And then obviously I see there's no one.
Nothing there.
But now I'm able to breathe again because that weight is gone.
Yeah.
And I find that I'm sweating like profusely. The amount of energy that I put into that, I realized later on. And man, that was one freaky experience. And then I read up on sleep paralysis. And strangely enough, all the descriptions are the same. Like even from the olden times, they used to describe about this woman who used to jump on your back.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand how exactly it turned out to be a woman. You know, hundreds of years back, some guy is writing about it.
Right.
And I'm experiencing the same thing. I very clearly saw a woman, you know, and she jumped on my back. It's very tough to explain these things to you. It's very, very weird.
Which is why I put more faith in the, grandma tales in subjects like this.
Yeah.
I feel that, and there are remedies to solve this. In the sense, like if you're getting a particular dream, my grandmother used to be like, do this.
Right.
Take a bath before you sleep or something like that.
Yeah.
Take Tirdam or whatever it is. Wash your feet and sleep. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they all work. Huh? Every single time I followed whatever she asked because you're scared as shit, right? When something of this
you're
magnitude,
looking for any kind of assistance.
Yeah, you're just like surrendering to whatever comes your way.
Yeah.
Right. And what is the fear? Those tales are slowly dying out. I don't hear those grandma tales. That source from where you get it, right? Like my grandmother, my grandfather actually used to decode these dreams.
Right.
They used to explain that, you got a snake in your dream. That's good. Like it's a sign of prosperity or whatever. And you feel like, though the dream was scary, then something good is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's some kind of assurance or sorts.
Right.
And today, I don't know who do I turn to if I get a dream which I can't decode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the similar experience, I used to sleep, as a kid, I used to sleep in my grandfather's room. And there were two cots separated. So one cot I used to sleep, the other cot my grandfather used to sleep. And everybody in my house, every time they slept in that room, used to hear of those anklet sounds roam around the room.
Okay.
And so, inevitably I hear that anklets going around the house. I wake up at that moment just to make sure that I'm completely awake. It's not like a sleep thing. It's not a dream or shit. I wake up, sit up in my cot. I still hear that bloody sound. And now it's like becoming very, annoying.
Okay.
Right? So I go off to sleep. The next day, I tell the same thing to my grandmother. And those are Korri Dhayyalu. So there are this classification of,
demons,
or who are notorious for disturbing people. They're like something like Loki.
Right.
They're mischievous,
right.
Spirits or whatever.
Right.
And she used to be like, they don't do anything. They just disturb your sleep. That's all. And then she goes off into this whole story. I know I'm digressing here. She goes off into the story where this Korri Dhayyalu, basically, why they are called mischievous is back in the day when people used to go by bullock carts from one village to another, right? It so often happens that they have to cross like a jungle or, acres of farm fields and all. And there was no light or anything.
Yeah.
Right? So they basically used to follow lanterns.
Okay.
So wherever there is a lantern and they see a path, they kind of like go in that direction.
Right.
And the second thing is they blindly believe the oxes. That they know the route to home, so they'll take us.
Right.
So what used to happen, it seems, is they used to start following these lanterns or these lights. And they would keep following and following and following. And at the dawn, by the time the sunlight comes, they realize that they were just going round and round in the same place.
Okay.
I've digressed, but
No, it's okay.
these kind of things are, you get assurance from your grandmothers and grandfathers, right? And for somehow these guys decoded this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how. All these dreams, all these, sleep paralysis,
Yeah.
they have their own weird logic to it.
Yeah.
But they know remedies to this. They know how to avoid these things,
Yeah.
right? And it happened to almost everybody in my family.
Yeah. And in a similar way, the whole concept, like that we mentioned wet dreams earlier on.
Yeah.
So in the past, or there have been legends about wet dreams as well, like how people used to process them.
Right.
Like same way to sleep paralysis, people believed that there were these mischievous or these female demons or entities
Yeah.
that preyed on the male sexual energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, they got their energy from the male sexual energy.
Right.
And these female entities were called succubus, or succubi is the plural, but succubus is the singular version. So what they used to believe was that a succubus is actually who influences your dreams, gets you all excited and hot and bothered up, where to the point where you arrive,
Right.
which makes it a wet dream.
Right.
And that whole energy that your body generated, they feed off
on
of it.
that.
Yeah, they feed on that.
Yeah.
And that's where they're tinkering with you when you're asleep, is what the conventional belief goes.
Yeah.
Have you had wet dreams ever?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Lot?
Especially during my puberty time.
Okay.
And then it kind of like, it doesn't happen so often.
Yeah.
Kind of the frequency reduces.
I only remember one such instance.
What?
Again in my youth, yeah. But
yeah, it was in those teen times
Yeah.
where you kind of are, super excited about stuff.
yeah.
Right. But after that, most of my dreams, and I think it has to do a lot, dreams have to do a lot with how you think
Yeah.
in your awake time. Most of my dreams are about very intense conversations with people who I know, right? Some of them, like I said, most of them, like, I kind of make sense of, okay, maybe this is what it is.
Right.
Some of them are very intense conversations where either I'm sharing my peace of mind or they are giving me their 2 cents about me as a person. And they are like, hey, Brute, this is something I don't like about you. You should go easy or whatever. And I give my justification, and they're very rational in the dream. Huh?
Right.
They're and the only thing that I can make out is they're opening their heart out.
Right.
There is no filter in how they are saying or what they are saying. So it kind of, gives me like a different angle or a different perspective as to, which is why I was asking you, have you ever got a dream which changed your perspective towards someone or changed your perspective towards something.
Right.
And that is something that I get a lot. So basically, that is why I was asking you that if you ever got a dream which changed your perspective towards people, because I feel dreams do play a huge part in, showing you a different perspective to things which you otherwise would miss on a normal day.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I haven't had those kind of perspective change kind of dreams. But the way I look at my weird dreams as well is that they are introducing me to something so completely unknown. Everything is so new and different that it does tend to have some impact on either the way that I'm living my life, or if I'm trying to come up with some ideas,
Right.
then they do contribute to that.
Right.
Somehow the weirdness of it. I feel just the exercise of my mind going to such an extent where it saw so many things completely different,
Right.
that I feel like it must have pushed the limits of my imagination
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Right.
So now in my waking state, if I'm trying to think of something clever, some kind of a script to write,
Yeah.
then I feel like there, maybe because of this push of, my limits of my imagination,
Right.
probably I'm getting
Yeah,
new
that happened to
ideas.
me, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
I got dreams where I actually got like a full-fledged sketch or a joke, right, which I could use for a stand-up or something.
Right.
That actually happened to me. Like I would get like very detailed, elaborate dreams of, oh, you can do this, and this is how you can make the joke out of it.
Right.
And the dream itself is about me living the joke. It's not like somebody is telling me a joke or I'm telling somebody a joke, but I'm living the joke, you know.
Right.
It's as good as you getting the inspiration of a joke from, you know, a setup of friends, or you go to a new city and you see something types.
Yeah.
It's almost on the same lines. And I think from my memory, at least 2 or 3 jokes that I've written, which were basically derived out of a joke.
Derived out of a dream.
Sorry, derived out of a dream.
Right.
Yeah, that was a joke. There is always something to pick out of a dream if you realize it's a dream, which is another thing altogether. How many times have you realized it's a dream when it's happening?
I think I remember 2-3 times.
Yeah, it happens quite often to me.
Okay.
Every time, you know, a little way into the dream, I almost start realizing that this is a dream. Let me see what happens.
It's a great segue to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. You know.
So
this is the forced dreaming mechanism, right?
No. This is where. So for anyone who's listening that's unfamiliar, let me give you a very rough, brief explanation. Lucid dreaming is the concept where you get aware that you're dreaming first, and then you begin controlling what happens in your dream.
Yeah.
So people who are adept or experts at lucid dreaming, they're set to do multiple different kinds of things, like you can fly
in the dream
at your will. You can summon people from your past and talk to them in your dream. And I've heard some very weird, fascinating things that people can do with lucid dreaming. So it starts off, first of all, I think if you as a guy have multiple scenarios you can remember where you realized halfway through the dream that you were dreaming, that is the first step where you can start lucid dreaming. Okay, because that is where you realize.
I think there is this one dream that I can remember now as you're saying.
Right.
Where, oh dude, this is supremely
because
crazy.
Even I have an example. Go ahead.
There was this dream where it started off as a very normal dream. There was a bunch of my friends, like the usual suspects, right?
Yeah.
My school friends, my childhood friends. And we are all going to one place or the other, right? And so basically the dream goes, like we all decide to go to my village, right? To meet, there's some function and we are going there to attend. My friends basically like, yeah, we'll come, we'll check it out.
Right.
So we go there, and midway through the function, I realized, dude, this is a dream because this is not the house that these guys live in, right? So I'm like, okay, fine. So let me see what happens. I'm just telling myself this is a dream and everything is happening around me as it is.
Right.
And then what happened is, like, my cousins from the village, who are my family cousins, they all take all of us, me and my friends, to the other side of the house, saying that, hey, we have constructed a new part of the house. So this is where we want to stay. This is a cooler part of the house, blah, blah, blah. And we go there. It opens up to a massive field. There's a huge temple right at the, at the veranda. You face at the temple, which is also built by my family, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And we see a huge ground, and all my friends are like, dude, there's a ground here.
Right.
What are we doing inside house? Let's go play cricket. And we're playing cricket. And because now I know it's a dream, right? I am able to do anything and everything in the dream. Like, I'm able to hit the ball however I want. I am able to ball however I want. And there was this bunch of people who came, like, creating ruckus. So there's a couple of girl cousins of mine who are being teased by some, locals. And me and my friends go there and we try to tell them politely that, you don't know who we are. So, you should cut it off or whatever. And they don't listen. So we go into a fight, right? We are going like hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
And we are thulping these guys.
Right.
Midway of the fight, I realize I'm not even touching them. But these guys are getting thulped just by me looking at them.
Okay.
Right? And then at that point, I'm like, okay, fine, this is enough. So let's head back.
Okay.
And I'm able to tell, okay, we are going to go this place. And we go to that place. So I get what you're saying. Like once you kind of realize like this is what the dream is, I think you kind of manifest things.
But there's a challenge here because conventionally for people, once they realize or they get aware that they are dreaming, eventually, immediately it switches to another dream and they lose track again, or they wake up. It's hard.
This is the only dream which I had. Right. But what you said happens to me otherwise.
Yeah, people find it very hard to hold
on to it.
And that's where you need some training. If you want to be a lucid dreamer, right? There are some exercises that you could do to increase or improve your skill of holding on to that dream.
Yeah.
And my recollection of that, so there were 2 instances in my early past where I realized I was dreaming, but I didn't have any idea.
What is early past? Is it recent past or like early
childhood?
Past? Okay.
Where I realized that I was dreaming, but I was not aware of lucid dreaming or any concept like that. So I didn't do anything. I just continued that way. But then I met a friend of mine who introduced me to the concept of not only lucid dreaming but also astral projection. So
what is the difference?
I'll tell you. Just shout out to my friend JP out there. So lucid dreaming, when he told me about this concept, right, that people do this actually, there are exercises for people to do, and I was like, "Wow, really?" And after I heard that, I happened to have a dream. Halfway through which I realized I was dreaming. Okay, I was like, okay. So I found myself in a ship, and I was in the mess area in the ship.
The pantry section.
The pantry section where everyone comes together to eat.
Right.
And they were the staff, the personnel, ship personnel. They were walking around and something had happened. I'm not sure what, but they were gathered there. Some kind of commotion was going on. I was part of that commotion, like not actively involved.
Yeah.
But it had something to do with me being present there or whatever. And
people hate you everywhere, Bogus.
No.
That is the learning of the dream.
It was not that kind of a hateful thing. It was like something they had to do. Now that I was there, something
sacrifice
like that.
You.
No,
I think maybe that is the thing.
Wait, let me first of all finish this.
Okay.
So the minute I realized I was dreaming, right? In the dream, I remember I was kind of like checking to make sure nobody else figured out that
you were dreaming.
That I realized that I was dreaming.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, nobody noticed. Great. Now let's
try
Day
42nd.
No, let's try this lucid dreaming thing.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could remember at that point of time was, didn't they say you could float? They said you could fly. So then I started thinking, okay, if I'm lucid dreaming, I want to fly right now. I want to float.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I start floating.
In the water?
No, in the ship.
In the ship. In the air. So
in the pantry area.
Floating in the air.
I'm floating up in the air. And because it's inside the ship, right?
Yeah.
I can only float up till the roof.
Right.
And inside ships, it's not really high ceiling. It is very low.
Yeah.
So it didn't take me much long to reach the ceiling.
Right.
And so the ceiling was blocking me. I was floating and I'm trying to look around. Is anyone getting freaked out while watching me float?
Yeah.
I'm trying to check their
reaction. How
reaction.
old were you when you got this?
This was very recent, dude. This
was recent. Okay.
Very recent, like I think 4 or 5 years back.
Okay.
So I'm trying to check their reaction to see if it's registering. That are they amazed that I'm floating?
Yeah.
Nobody even paid attention to that.
they don't care if you exist.
They were just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And they were involved in something.
Yeah.
And I was like,
hello.
Yeah, I'm floating here. And then I was like, oh shit, I don't have any training. I didn't do any exercises. So what do I do to keep this going?
Yeah.
Can I move? Can I go? That's it. That's the last memory I have of being in that ship.
Yeah.
And lucid dreaming. So you had a way more
because
longer
so I don't know about lucid dreaming. I always thought that lucid dreaming was induced by substance.
No.
I never went deep into lucid dreaming.
Right.
And neither did I go into astral projections. I don't know what it means. But I knew one thing. The reason why when I could make sense of it was it was a very happy-go-lucky kind of dream. I mean, I was very happy. I was showing off my village to my friends and blah, blah, blah. I remember the instance when I realized that, hey, this is a dream because when I sat in the function and I looked back to call somebody or somebody it was like a very normal scenario, right? It was a very typical, function scenario. There's a shamiana, there's somebody doing some puja or something and everybody was sitting and then people are coming and doing dance or something.
Right.
And then somebody taps me and says like, can you call him or something or some shit like that. And I turned around, right? and everybody was talking here and there. I felt the tap,
Mm-hmm.
and I turned around and everybody was like looking here, like they're genuinely in a conversation. And I started thinking like, this is a dream. It just hit me
Right.
out of nowhere.
Right.
This is a dream. And then the next thing I do is I look at everything and like, this is not their house. This is not their alley. This is not the people who are my relatives, blah, blah, blah. And then now I'm in control of the scenario in a
Right.
way where when people came and like say like, hey, we should chill in the other section. I was like, okay, let me see how far this goes. Right. And at all the point, I was thinking this will break now. This will break now. Right. But it just didn't break for some reason. It just kept going on and on.
Yeah.
And that was the only instance. But there are times, like you say, I get the realization that this is a dream. Who are you kidding?
Right.
And then
it slips.
Yeah, and then it kind of phases out.
Yeah.
Not more than phases out. It's more like it fizzles out. You start seeing that things are disintegrating, right? And then it just like snaps.
Right.
So I never knew that was lucid dreaming. I heard about lucid dreams, but for some reason, I always thought that these are the ones which people get when they do LSD or some kind of a substance or something like that.
Right. So my friend actually described some very well. The process that he shared with me was for astral projection.
But what is an astral projection?
Astral projection is where you can do a certain number of steps to step out of your body, your physical body. And you're not sleeping. You're not dreaming.
You're awake.
You're awake.
You basically are teleporting.
Kind of, but it's like you step out of your body and you can see your body lying down on the bed.
Why do you want to do that?
I don't know why you want to do that. Maybe just for the experience of it. But
is this the whole Doctor Strange shit?
Very similar, actually. They did a great job of showing that in VFX.
Yeah.
But it's very similar to that. And when that lady
pushes
his chest, pushes his chest,
yeah,
and he steps out,
and
that's basically astral projection.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you're in the astral realm, it is said that you shouldn't be too surprised meeting other entities who may want to have a conversation. It could be dangerous for you, or
why do you want to
it
do
could
this?
be favorable. Again,
because why are you playing with
why do people
the laser beams?
Why do people do free soloing? Why do they climb a cliff without any ropes, anything? It's just the human tendency to.
No, it's not human tendency because there is a wiring problem with them.
No.
They need treatment. If you're asking my opinion,
if that's the
treatment,
then it's the same answer for this also. A wiring problem that
treatment,
causes them.
yeah.
The curiosity is too much, it gets better of you.
Yeah, I mean, like make somebody do and then see.
Yeah, I don't want to
I think
describe...
that is the best thing.
I don't want to describe the steps that he shared.
First is it like some kind of an occultic practice?
Yes, related. I mean, it's not nothing demonic.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Occultism is not demonic.
Occultism is just... the true meaning of occult is hidden. Something which is not known.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to share that because I don't want anyone risking on half-baked knowledge.
You think people are going to...
First of all, no one listens to this podcast.
Yeah. No, even if the 4 people are listening to this, do you think they will vouch for what you said and go and follow your steps?
No, I don't think they could even get by with whatever I said.
But what I am interested is, like the person who told JP, who spoke to you about, correct me if I'm wrong, right? So, this junior panchayat who has shared these steps, has he done it?
I remember him saying he...
Tried it
a little bit, but he never got too deep into it.
But did he experience it? The astral projection?
No.
Because from whatever I read, it's not an easy job. 1.
Yeah.
And 2, it's not that you have like 7 steps, do it and you get it.
Yeah, it's not like a happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
No. The procedure he talked about to trigger it, right?
Yeah.
It seems very simple enough.
Yeah, but it's like I said,
although
it's
it
not
requires
as simple
repetition.
as it said.
Yeah, it requires repetition and it requires...
The second thing about this shit is you may never come back.
Exactly. It's
going out of your body is only half
the
job done.
You need to enter.
Yeah, you have to know how to get back also, which is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that they speak, I mean, about astral projections from whatever I've read, I've not gotten deep into it because I stopped the moment they said like you can basically get lost forever.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, not needed. throw it out.
Could be the same reason why he didn't get to interpret. It's not something you fuck around with.
Yeah, you don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that kind of. You need too much of precision for that.
Oh,
It's a ridiculous amount of precision you need.
just remembered. I have had premonition type of dreams. Like one I remember, I was in my school, again boarding school. So
Yeah.
the height of frustration,
Uh-huh.
the height of curiosity,
Yeah.
alienation or no isolation from female, any kind of female,
Yeah.
right?
Were you checking out trees and asking trees like, are you a girl or a boy?
No, I didn't get to
Was
that
it like
extent.
that delusional stuff?
No, but I had a very, very vivid dream. Again, felt like a distant memory
Yeah.
where I actually saw a naked woman for the first time
In the dream?
in the dream. In my real life, I had not seen a naked woman yet in detail. Especially for
You
guys.
call that a premonition?
Wait, I'll tell you. For boys who are growing up, right?
I got that dream too. I had the same dream. I had a similar dream.
Okay, let me describe this.
Okay.
For boys who are growing up,
Yeah.
who have not yet,
Hit the.
who have not yet seen it all
Yeah.
of a woman.
Uh-huh.
The most hidden part, of course, is the down under, the Australia, right?
Yes, this is a family podcast.
That's why I said the down under.
That doesn't hide a lot.
Shout out to our listeners in Australia for that reference. But so that's the usually most concealed and hidden part, right? And that usually piques the curiosity of boys, adolescent boys, the most, because nothing else is as hidden as Australia. So,
Yeah.
so when I see a dream,
However, that fits the bill, but
right? But when I see a dream where for the first time in my life,
uh-huh.
I'm looking at Australia in great detail.
Yeah.
Before in my waking life, I have seen Australia.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? I have no idea what to make of that. Like, how was I able to see that before I saw it in my waking life?
That happened to me also. I think it happens to every
But
boy
come
and
on.
girl. Yeah, it happened. We had discussions about this as kids.
No, but how do you see something which you don't know how it looks like?
How
also?
are you seeing a parallel universe which you don't even know that exists? Have you said that you get this futuristic,
I mean, it's not
dreams?
always futuristic.
No, but
It's ancient as well.
Yeah, whichever.
Yeah.
Okay, go whichever side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
How are you able to do it?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's the point.
So if Australia in my dream coincided with Australia in reality, then that means those worlds also might exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, which is why I'm saying dreams are a peephole into things that we
No
might...
pun intended.
Don't interject me. Okay?
I just had to clarify for the audience that
Yeah.
Brut is not
No.
making a pun when he says peephole. Okay, go ahead.
So you are hellbent on making this a vulgar podcast.
It is not.
Okay, fine.
Look at how
I
classy we
apologize
just dealt
for-
with it.
yeah.
Like, it's a ThyGap podcast exclusive. Australia is a new word.
Yeah, there's a new word.
Yeah.
Dreamophobia, and then there is Dixcitement,
Excitement.
and then there's Australia.
Yeah, I don't
Which
think I'll
is-
ever forget Excitement.
Dixcitement is a fantastic word.
Yeah.
So, Bogus, that was interesting, at the least.
Fascinating conversation about dreams.
Yep. And dreaming further
Mm-hmm.
and fulfilling our fans' dreams.
Right.
We are going to our next segment,
Which is
the parcel section.
the parcel section. That's
Woo!
right. That's right.
So, for this episode, I have a very interesting parcel to offer.
Which is
A very unlikely movie
mm-hmm.
where you will see an unlikely actor being a part of it.
Okay.
Have you heard of the name Ashton Kutcher?
Of course.
What do you relate him with?
That 70s show, Punked, and
2.5 Men.
a few romantic comedies here and
Yep.
there. Yeah.
But then there is this one movie which he did,
yeah.
which is called The Butterfly Effect.
Mm-hmm.
Got released in and around 2003-04, if
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. Very interesting concept of the movie. So you know what the butterfly effect is, right?
For the benefit of the listeners, why don't you introduce
Also to improve your IQ.
the
I
concept.
know you don't want to put it out there, but let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Butterfly effect is basically this theory that a flap of a butterfly wing can cause a typhoon in one part of the world. Right?
Right.
How the chain of events will slowly, influence a more complex situation.
Right.
Right. So to be more simpler, a simple act can have a non-linear effect on complex situations.
Right.
Right. That is, in a nutshell, both the scientific and verbal definition of the butterfly effect.
Right.
You get that, Bogus?
Yeah. It's just a way to explain how everything is interconnected.
Yes, that too. So the movie, The Butterfly Effect, speaks for itself. Ashton Kutcher, the lead,
Right.
basically has a very traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
Because of which he constantly keeps having these blackouts.
Right.
Right. So what happens is, and he's traumatized.
Yeah.
by
Just
what
to
has
clarify, in case anyone was confused, Ashton Kutcher, Butterfly Effect, this is not about a tramp stamp.
Yeah, it's not.
yeah.
It's not a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's an intense drama genre. If I have to,
It's a thriller,
put it.
actually.
It's a thriller.
Yeah.
But I think I would put it as a drama. Would you put? Yeah, it's a drama thriller kind of a genre.
Okay.
And so where was I?
Ashton Kutcher.
Aha! I tested you and I failed. So he has a lot of childhood traumas, because of which, once he grows up, he still gets those traumatic experiences,
Right.
and he kind of relives them.
Yeah.
And he keeps having blackouts and stuff. And at some point, he goes back to the journals that he's written as a kid. He comes across them, starts reading them through, and he realizes that how bad his experience was.
Okay.
So he figures out a way to go back in time and change these events. Right? So he wants to, because he has this knowledge of he can stand up to these acts, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. So he goes back in time and changes some of these events for his benefit and for the benefit of others. And then comes back to the present only to see that he's in a prison. Right? He's in a police station. He's been caught as a convict, and like he's been a murderer and all kinds of things. And he gets super confused, like what the hell happened?
Yeah.
So he doesn't understand. So he tracks back what has happened. And then slowly he realizes that because of that one change he did in the timeline in the past,
Yeah.
The effects were such that he ends up in this situation.
Which he did not anticipate.
He didn't anticipate, obviously. So he goes back in time again and tries to recorrect them,
Right.
in a different way. And every time he does that, the future only seems to be getting worse and worse.
Okay.
Right? So as to how that leads, how he keeps realizing the small changes he does in the past, how that kind of influences the future in a heavy way, how that snowballs into a bigger effect to a point where he loses his loved ones and all that. He loses his friends, some of his friends die, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So he finally gets to solve that puzzle. And for that, he has to pay a huge price. Right? So what the price is, what he has to go through, all that. It's a very well done movie. Right? And I think it's one of those few movies which has taken a good dig at this whole time travel concept.
Okay.
And made a good meal out of it.
Right.
You actually kind of get, it kind of, tickles your, what do you call that, detective bone or the
Imagination.
conspiracy bone.
Yeah.
Where, okay, if time travel really does exist, then is it possible to make like a genuine change in the timeline, right? So which is a curious thing, which also might be a Easter egg to something which is going to come in the future.
Or it might be an Easter egg to something that's going on in real life. There are conspiracy theories about the same thing you described.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility to view probable future eventualities, and then depending on that, can you influence the future to either go towards that direction or away from it?
Right.
Through the looking glass, people, if you catch my drift, any sharp ThyGap listeners?
Yes. Also, the word here that you need to remember is peephole.
People, yeah.
Not people. Peephole.
Oh, peephole, right.
Peephole into the future.
Right.
So that's my recommendation for this episode. Bogus, the ball is in your court.
Awesome. My parcel for this episode is a movie that came out in 2004, stars Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, and was directed by Michel Gondry. The movie is called Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Whoa.
it does deserve that reaction. Because when the movie came out, it came out to great critical acclaim, deservedly so. But also through the years, it's been building up more of a cult following. And quite a lot of you might have already watched this movie, but in case you haven't, let me start off with why you should. First of all, because of the director. Michel Gondry is an original genius when it comes to filmmaking. The guy initially got famous because of his seminal work on music videos through the 80s and 90s. So if anyone looks up Daft Punk's music video on Around the World, the very famous music video, that was directed by Michel Gondry. Then he directed a few videos for the White Stripes, which are also very famous because of the way they were shot. So this guy was a visionary, and anyone who is interested in filmmaking, you should look into Michel Gondry's work a little more.
Yeah, guys, also to give you a little trivia, Bogus stalked Michel Gondry for 18 years, and that's how he knows so much about him.
Right. No, I just watched a documentary on his life. But Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind opens on Joel, played by Jim Carrey, an extremely introverted character, keeps to himself. And he finds himself in the station at Montauk, which is near or in New York State, I guess. So at this station, he's waiting for a train to arrive. He doesn't know why he's there, but he just felt like he had to go there. And he runs into Clementine, played by Kate Winslet.
None other
than. And they both hit it off very well.
Because both of them are
like
good actors.
Kindred spirits. But basically, they hit it off together. They start forming a relationship. And things seem to be going well enough when all of a sudden shit hits the fan. When Joel finds out that Clementine approaches this neuro
psychologist, scientist,
doctor, something like that,
neurologist,
a neuro
therapist,
expert, or a company based on neurology, and she asks them to have her memories of Jim Carrey removed, and that's a service that this company offers in this movie. Okay. Removed from her memories, basically.
Oh my God.
So Joel runs into a Kate Winslet who does not recognize her. And
oh my God.
He gets shocked. And then he tries to find out, he learns more about this company that offers this facility to people to have any unpleasant memories wiped out from their minds. And so in his desperation, he wants to do the same. He wants to wipe out Kate Winslet from his memory because he finds it too painful now to continue.
Oh my God.
And then he has a change of heart. And as the company is trying to erase his memories, he fights hard mentally to hold on to memories of her.
Oh God.
And so the movie is a very surreal take on... It plays out in a very surreal fashion as well. This is not a cut and dry movie. It's very weird. And... It's slightly fantastical in nature. So it goes to a place where Kate and Jim Carrey, they're both consciously aware in Jim Carrey's memories, and now they're both working together to hold on to whatever memories they have. It's the way it is picturized, the way it is shown, or the way it is shot. It is so beautiful. And of course the acting. I think, in my personal view, for me, this is Jim Carrey's finest acting performance. I know that for Brut, it is number 23.
Number 23, guys.
Right.
My previous Parcel.
And for me, it is Eternal Sunshine. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Also, not just for the acting, not just for the direction, but also for the incredible music that John Bryan gave to this movie. So... that brings us, guys, to the conclusion of our episode on dreams.
Dreams. It's just dreams, not DreamWorks.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Did it pique your interest? Would you like us to go into a part 2 where we actually go into detail about some of our other weirder dreams.
Yes.
And if yes, you would have to share some of your weird ones first.
Yes.
That's the condition.
Yes.
Because the next part, we would want to go some of our dreams and some of your dreams.
Yes.
And I think that would be a great...
This is the perfect platform to
Yeah.
share your weirdness anonymously.
Yeah. And if you have your own interpretation of what that could have meant, please share that as well.
Yeah, especially the grandma tales.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
Different cultures, you could have different tales.
cultures, different parts of the world have different stories. So we really want to keep the torch lit
Yeah.
about the grandma tales, because I personally, and Bogus, if I can speak on your behalf also, we personally think that these are very assuring, anecdotes,
Yeah.
which kind of bring you peace after a weird night. So if the more we share, the better it is for everyone.
Yeah, and they come from a very old place and time, which we may
Yes.
not realize. But these things, like grandma tales,
Yeah.
they actually originate from a very, very old
Very
time.
old times. Like
Yeah.
you have no idea how old.
Yeah.
Like the hair, the graying of hair is so old. Very old.
That made a lot of
Old,
sense.
Old.
All right, guys, now you know the condition. Share with us your weird dreams. And if you have an interpretation, share with us as well. Our email, we have an email.
We have an email.
Yay!
Claps.
It took a lot of effort, a 5-year plan, and a Vision 2025.
3 years of strategy, involvement of game theory, and also
And there
little
was-
assistance.
There was some unavoidable corruption also involved,
Absolutely.
for which we are doing our investigation right now.
Yeah.
But
we are involving the best of the teams
Yeah.
into this.
all you need to know is mind thy gap. Mind thy gap at gmail.com. That's where
Repeat
you
it
write
100
in.
times and tattoo it on your arm.
Because that is a motto to live by as well. All right. Before we sign off, Brut, what do we say?
ThyGap. Subscribe
And share.
and share.